the sunshine in the day. I'm trying to make this darkness go away.
Hello you guys, welcome back to my channel. Today we are going to be filming my third trimester recap video. To be honest, this video is going to be a little hard for me to film because the third trimester for me was the most difficult by far. It's not even comparable. Obviously the first trimester was also rough with the nausea and the fatigue and stuff, but the third trimester, it was so hard for me. But we're gonna talk about it. I know that obviously I'm no longer pregnant. Nora is actually about to be a month old on Sunday, the day that this video goes up, which is crazy. I can't even believe that she is already a month old. But I did still want to film this video even though I'm no longer pregnant, because I did film a first trimester recap video and a second trimester recap video. So I thought I should probably make a third trimester recap just so that I have my whole pregnancy documented, and then I can look back on these videos and remember how the pregnancy went and just know kind of like what is to come and what's to expect for if or when we are pregnant again. Also, I know a lot of you who follow me are also first-time moms or are pregnant for the first time, and so I wanted to share my experience so that hopefully you can, I don't know, enjoy listening to it or kind of get some ideas on what is helpful and stuff like that. But if you guys are new here, hello, my name is Haley. I am a first-time mama to a sweet little girl named Nora. And if you aren't already subscribed, please feel free to subscribe. We'd love to have you here. I film a lot of lifestyle, motherhood, vlog type videos. And if you aren't already following me on Instagram, I'd love to have you over there as well. I have been posting there a lot, just more day-to-day life kind of content, and so I'd love to have you over there as well. So let's go ahead and get into this third trimester recap video. So as I mentioned, the third trimester for me personally was the most difficult trimester. It was definitely the hardest on my body physically and emotionally, and we're gonna talk about it. I didn't share a lot of like the last couple of weeks where I was struggling a lot while I was going through it, and so we're just gonna kind of talk and be vulnerable and open and share that kind of stuff. So hopefully you guys appreciate that. So the third trimester starts when you are 28 weeks, if you guys don't already know. So from weeks like 28 to 33-ish, I was still feeling pretty good. Honestly, until like week 35, I was still like doing okay. I definitely around 34 weeks, 35 weeks started to get very uncomfortable. I felt huge. Obviously at this point in your pregnancy, your belly is very, very big. It's like getting close to like the max amount of weight you're gonna gain because you're like almost done being pregnant and like nothing fits. And honestly, that is when I started to struggle a little bit. I started to deal with some swelling, which I tried so hard to combat, but if you guys don't know, I'm also a teacher, and so I teach kindergarten. You are on your feet all day long, and especially kindergarten, you are like up and down and very like involved with everything they do. So it was very, very difficult. I would come home every day and just like put my feet up really high on the couch to get them to go down in swelling. My feet were definitely the part that swelled the most, and my hands. And it was really difficult, to be honest. I was very uncomfortable. Oh no. Okay, let me go check on her really fast. All right, it is quite a bit while later. I had to go get the baby and feed her and change her and try to get her back to sleep, and she would not let me put her down. So she is just chilling with me because she doesn't want me to put her down. So let's see if I can remember where we were, what we were talking about before I had to go get her. This is real life. I don't know how I'm gonna film any sit-down videos without her. Okay, so I think where I left off was talking about how around like 34, 35 weeks, I started to get very uncomfortable, felt huge, was exhausted again, was dealing with a lot of swelling, all of that kind of stuff. And I was very ready to be done working at this point. That's when just working started to get really hard. But we were surviving. So at 36 weeks, we went to our midwife appointment. And at this appointment, we discovered that Nora had flipped to head up, or breech is what it's called. And basically that means that we had two options. We could either try and get her flipped naturally, do an ECV or just opt for a C-section. So this was the point in my third trimester where things started to get a little bit more rough. I was stressed out of my mind. I was not able to sleep. I honestly really struggled the last 4 weeks of my pregnancy, and I didn't really share that online because when you're in the moment of like super struggling, it's really hard to share that online with a bunch of people or just in general. But this was the part of my pregnancy that was hands down the hardest, and most of it was just stress related. So we ended up scheduling an ECV, which is where the doctor will come and they will try to flip your baby from the outside. That's what we opted to do. I have a video that I filmed pretty close to when we had the ECV that I will link up above, and just kind of shares our experience and our story as to what happened with all of that. But our ECV was successful. And all I can say is if you find out that your baby is breech and you opt to do an ECV, I would advise you to only listen to like positive stories. Kind of like with birth too. With my birth, I only listen to positive birth stories, but I obviously know about the complications or the risks. Same with an ECV. Like, you can still be educated, but you can still choose to consume only positive content, because at least for me, like, I have to enter into a situation like a birth or an ECV or something that's really hard with a positive mindset, and that really affects the way that I handle the situation. So if you find out your baby is breech and that you are going to opt to do an ECV, I would definitely just recommend keeping your mind very positive. Try to relax. I know during my ECV, I listened to like worship music, a playlist I had specifically like in mind to labor with. I also listened to that during our ECV and just tried my very best to relax and just stay positive, and I think it really helped. So anyways, that happened at 36 weeks. Baby was breech. We got an ECV done at 37 weeks. At this point, my stress really was high at this point in my pregnancy because I was so stressed about Nora flipping back that I barely sat down. I basically lived on the birth ball. I barely slept because I was so afraid of her flipping back while I was sleeping, and I just really hard place at this point in my pregnancy, and I was very stressed, and it started to affect my body physically, and it was not healthy. So my blood pressure at 37 weeks started to spike. We have a whole video I also filmed about that, where I just kind of shared what happened. We got sent to the hospital to be monitored. Luckily, everything was fine, and I was still able to have the birth that I wanted, and my blood pressure did drop right away back to normal once the birth was over, because I think all of the stress just left my body. She was out and I didn't have anything to worry about anymore. That was something else I struggled with during my third trimester, was just high blood pressure due to stress. Something else I started to do during the third trimester was seeing a chiropractor, specifically a Webster certified chiropractor. I personally found seeing a chiropractor super helpful just within the way that I was feeling. I think that it helped my birth because my pelvis was aligned and it helped get her in the best position. All of that stuff really helped too. Another thing I started doing during the third trimester is walking a ton. I was walking for a little while, like 3 miles a day. Would not recommend doing that much. More like a mile is what I'm gonna do with our next pregnancy, just because 3 miles was too much for my body. My feet were killing me at that point. But as I said, I was so stressed out about getting her low at my pelvis and keeping her there that that's what I was doing. Okay, so she is awake again. She has not been sleeping very well today, taking any naps, and it's hard when you're trying to get things done as a mom, right? But that's okay. Hopefully she'll just chill with us. But anyways, some other things that I started doing during the third trimester is just preparing my body and my mind for labor. Obviously, birth is a big deal, and I knew that it was coming. And so I wanted to do a couple of things that I could do to try and help my body prepare for that. But I won't share like everything I did or read or all that kind of stuff in this video. But if you guys are interested in what I did to prepare my body for labor and birth, I can definitely film that video. So if you guys are interested, let me know down below and I can film that. So some things I started doing during the third trimester was I started eating dates. I was drinking red raspberry leaf tea. I was taking vitamin D because my vitamin D levels were a little bit low. I got my blood tested at like 38 weeks and my vitamin D was a little bit low, so I started taking vitamin D. I started taking evening primrose oil at night. They were like little capsules, so I started doing that, and then like lots of squats and videos and things like that. I also, during the 3rd trimester, got 2 prenatal massages, which I know is like a luxury, but my body was so tired and sore by the end. So anyways, that is kind of my story with my 3rd trimester. I know this video is a little bit all over the place because little girl is refusing all of her naps. I think she's going through her first sleep right now, or I know she's going through her first sleep, so she is just refusing to sleep. She wants to be held all the time, and she wants to eat all of the time. So that's kind of our life right now, but I hope you guys enjoyed this video. The 3rd trimester for me was very tough. There was a lot of stressful things, but it was the last little step we needed to do to get her here, and we got her here, and she's so sweet. And see, she's hungry again. Oh my gosh. So I'm gonna go before she starts crying, but I hope you guys enjoyed this video. If you did, please give it a thumbs up. If you're new here, please subscribe, and I will see you guys in our next video. Can you say bye-bye? You just want to be in every video mom films, huh? Yeah. Well, you're sure cute, so that's okay. And you're looking at the light. Yes. All right. Bye.